So, hi everyone. This is Country Music News International. I'm Nigel Sharpe, and today I have the pleasure of returning to Australia and talking to a lovely lady with a lovely name, Wren Bellette. Now, I'm quite fascinated by this name. We are talking, of course, about the bird,
Yeah.
Wren. Do you
Yeah.
actually have wrens in Australia? There's a good opening
That's
question
a
for
good
you.
starting question. Thanks, Nigel. Yes, we do. We have lots of little wrens, and I believe they're native to Australia. And I was named after a wren. Yep.
There you go.
All those years ago. Yes.
Question answered. So let's get to some music now.
Sure. Let's talk music.
I've I've been reading up a little bit, and I know that you're a songwriter, and that you've been a songwriter for quite some time, but writing songs for other people. So
Yes.
how long have you been doing that, and why did you make that decision, or did somebody else make that decision for you to stop writing songs for other people and start writing them for yourself and emerge as an artist yourself?
A lot of it is circumstance. So, effectively, I was part of a band that was, a family band. It was myself and my husband's band, and there was five or six of us usually, called the Heggarties. And we started off as a covers band, and over time, I got frustrated with that experience. The band was around for about 10 or so years. There were other songwriters in the band, but nobody else was writing songs. And at that point, I didn't know I could write a song. And I had a holiday in front of me. And I thought, what can I do? I've got 3 months up my sleeve. I thought, I'm just going to try and write a country song, just for fun. And so I sort of started that. I didn't actually write a song in that period because it wasn't successful. But what that did do was sort of get the cogs rolling, I suppose. And I just started to. I write songs without playing guitar. I write songs by singing them in my head and singing them out loud and coming up with the lyrics that way, which sort of taps into my childhood experience of driving around in my mum's old, Kingswood, which is an old Australian car that didn't have a stereo. And my sister and I would just make up songs and sing them. So I sort of just tapped into that experience. And because I didn't have a stereo in my car at the time, and I was working, a fair way from where I lived. So every day I'd be driving to and from work, and I would just be singing and singing and singing. And I just started writing songs that way. And to my surprise, they were okay. So I started to write songs for the band that I was in. For quite a while, I was quite happy to just to get the credit as being under the band's name. So the band was the Heggarties. Our first EP came out. I think we had 5 songs on it, and 3 of them were mine. There was a cover and somebody else's. And, it was proposed that we just state that it was the Heggarties that wrote it. We put out an album. And I think there was 11 tracks on that album, and 6 of those were mine. And at that point, I was like, I think I actually want to state that I'm the songwriter for these songs. And it caused a bit of a problem. That's kind of how I started writing songs. I didn't write songs for myself personally. I wrote songs for the band that I was in, and then I started writing songs for the other musicians in the band to sing because they weren't writing songs. When the band broke up, I didn't think that I would be starting my own band. I was just leaving that band, and the drummer in my band at the time and a few other people were like, no, you need to do your own band now. So I had a lot of good guidance at that point from good friends. And to my surprise, musicians wanted to play with me, which I really kind of blew me away, to be honest, back then. And at one point I was still playing out the old gigs from the previous band that I'd left, and I'd rehearsing my new band. And when I launched that band, which is Wren and the Restless Few, I decided that I wasn't going to play any of the existing songs from the previous band. And I had 6 months to do it. And so I just got I just buckled down and wrote a whole new repertoire for a whole new band within about 6 months, and decided to pick up the guitar and have a go at playing that as well. And so when I launched that band, I launched it with all new material, and we had like over an hour's worth of a set, and I still get immense amount of pleasure knowing that I achieved that. And probably 2/3 of those songs I still perform to this day, and they're on my new album.
There you go. So let's get to the album then. Is it correct to say this is a debut album?
It is. It's my first album under my name, Wren Bellette.
Right.
And yeah, none of these songs have been recorded before, and they've all been written in the last, say, 3 or 4 years. Well, actually, all but one. Yeah, and these are all the songs that have been in my brain and heart probably for the last 3 or 4 years.
So, and is this album already officially out, or is there a release date still to come?
It's still to come. So I've just released, as you're aware, my second single, which is Sailor, off the album. The first single is Woman. I don't know if you've got a chance to hear that.
Yeah, check that out, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got 2 singles out at the moment. I want to release, ideally, I'd like to release 2 more, and then release the album in, say, late August. So I've got 2 gigs lined up for that, and then put the whole album out then. So it's so exciting. It's taken so long to do. So happy it's coming towards the end of this experience.
So, and in terms of having a band with you, the Restless Few. So, what do these guys get up to when you're not out gigging? When you're busy writing songs, do they have other work or?
Yeah, they all do their. So just for reference, I relocated from Adelaide in South Australia to Melbourne about 1.5 years ago, and I left my Adelaide band behind.
Right.
And I started my new band here. So I now have I've got a 6-piece band here in Melbourne, and we rehearse regardless of whether I'm writing songs or whether there's gigs. We just rehearse every fortnight, and at the moment we are rehearsing for our album launch. So that's our big goal. And then once that's done, the intention, of course, is just to start maybe touring it and then just playing as many gigs as we can so people can hear the songs. I've launched this album as a solo album, and the reason why I did that is because of the awareness of the uncertainty of having a band at all times. So I've got my band, the Restless Few, and they are an entity, and they are always going to be with me, and they can come and go as they choose, as movements happen within, lineup changes. But the way, what this means, I have the flexibility of being able to be myself. I can gig solo. I can change my lineup if I need to. It just gives me that flexibility on one angle. But the other part of it is I also get to be in a band. So I kind of have my foot in both worlds, which I think is, or toe in both waters, which is great. And it seems to work.
And what's it like these days for gigging in Australia? Can you do that on a regular basis without going to the same places all the time?
In Adelaide, not as much. No, hence one of the reasons why I left. You end up with Adelaide. It's like, to be honest, I found that there's lots of venues, but you end up playing the same venues, and everybody who's on the lineup is the same lot of people. So it's it just got a bit repetitious. And really, it's not until you go away and become uber famous that you can come back to Adelaide and you can start playing the bigger venues.
Yeah.
Whereas in Melbourne, there's a lot of venues, which is great. So yes, you could be playing a lot more here. And there's also like lots of cute little towns are outside of Melbourne, and like Bendigo and Ballarat and Castlemaine. They all have good little music scenes that you can play to.
Well, that sounds like a reasonable time to sort of draw this to a close with you with your foot
Yeah.
in the door.
Oh, yes. And a glass full of champagne.
And a glass of champagne. Yeah. So I'm going to say, on behalf of Country Music News International, to Wren Bellette, thanks very much for taking the time to join us. It's morning for me, but it's, as you can tell by the picture, it's evening in Melbourne.
Yeah.
The night is drawing in.
It
The
is getting
champagne
dark
is,
now.
yeah, the champagne's indeed finished. So I'm going to
It's
say,
Friday Eve here, so time to celebrate.
well, that's true, actually, isn't it? For me, it's Thursday morning. So
Yeah.
it's,
Thank you, Nigel.
yeah. So we wish you all the best for this year.
No,
I'm
thank you.
looking forward to the release of the album. Take care of yourself. Get out there on the boards. Do your thing. Keep on keeping it country. There you go. That'll work.
Well done. Thanks, Nigel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, you take care. Bye.
You too. Thanks, Ed. Bye.